She has been with us for 4 years, and for 4 years we have tried to get her pregnant. Every single year she came up empty. This past fall we made the decision that this was going to be her last chance. If it didn't happen this time, we were going to have to let her go. So when our vet pulled into the driveway earlier this spring to check all 3 of our Angus girls, I think it's fair to say we were both holding our breath. Hi and welcome back to Whitetail Acres Farm. We are so glad that you're here with us today because we have some really exciting news to share and a whole lot of work to show you that went into getting this farm ready for what's going to be coming very, very soon. So let's back up to this past fall. We made the decision to rent a bull to run with 3 of our Angus females. For a small farm like ours, this is a really practical approach. You get the benefits of natural breeding without the full-time expense and responsibility of owning a bull year-round. We brought him in, turned him out with the girls, and then we waited. Fast forward to earlier this spring, we had our vet come out to do pregnancy checks on all 3 of them, and this is always a bit of a nerve-wracking day. No matter how many times you do it, you just never know what you're going to find out. Now, 2 of our girls are what we would call proven mamas. This is not their first rodeo. They have been pregnant before, delivered healthy, beautiful calves. They're solid, reliable, dependable animals, and we had every reason to believe that they would come back positive, and they did. But then there's our heifer, who we formally named number 11. She has been here since the beginning, back when we were just figuring all of this out. The problem is she has never been able to get pregnant. Year after year, breeding season after breeding season, she just never caught. And as hard as it is to talk about on a working farm, an animal that cannot produce eventually cannot stay. This past fall was truly her last opportunity. We had already had the difficult conversation about what we would do if we had to, and if it didn't work out this time. So our vet finishes her checks. First proven mama, pregnant. Second proven mama, pregnant. And then she checks our heifer. And as we hold our breaths, she says she's pregnant.
So I would say she is about 3.5 months pregnant.
We were absolutely over the moon. 4 years of trying, 4 years of coming up empty, and this girl, this stubborn, wonderful girl, finally did it. She's going to be a mama for the very first time. It's one of those moments on the farm that just fills your heart completely. All of the early mornings, all of the uncertainty, all of the hard decisions that farming asks you to make, and then you get a moment like this one. It makes it all worth it. Now all 3 girls are doing well and their due dates are getting close, but 2 of them, they're getting really close. We're watching them carefully every single day right now. Here's how we know. There are 3 key signs that a cow is getting close to calving, and both of these girls are showing all 3 of them right now. The first is what farmers call bagging up. The udder fills with colostrum, which is the pre-milk that is so critical for newborn calves, and it becomes large, tight, and shiny. It is a very noticeable change. You cannot miss it once you know what you're looking for. The second sign is a sunken tailhead. As the body prepares for delivery, the pelvic ligaments around the tailbone begin to relax. When you look at that area on either side of the tailbone, it starts to look hollow or sunken in. It's a subtle change at first, but once you have seen it, it jumps right out at you. And the third sign is restlessness. She stands up, lies back down, stands up again. She swishes her tail, paws at the ground. Her whole demeanor shifts. Her body is telling her something big is coming, and she just cannot get comfortable. Both our first-time mama and one of our proven mamas are showing all 3 of these signs right now, which means we need to be ready. And we are going to tell you something at the end of today's video about our first-time mama specifically, because it's been weighing on us a little bit. Stay with us on that. But first, before we can welcome anyone into the world, we have a job to do. Whitey, you need to go outside. The livestock barn needed to be completely cleaned out and turned into a proper calving nursery. And after the heat waves we've had, it caused a lot of cattle traffic in and out of the pen so that the cattle could get relief with the fan blowing in there. The buildup of old straw, old hay, general farm muck was, well, let's just say it wasn't impressive. We started by opening up the interior pen gate so Ryan could get in there with the skid steer and start scraping everything out. While he was working on that, I was inside the main barn, raking and scraping up any loose old hay and straw that was on the inside. Might as well. Once I had a good pile going, it was just fast and easy for Ryan to come right through and scoop it up in one pass with the skid steer. So while Ryan's using the skid steer to scoop out the pen, I'm trying to clean up just the ground in the walking area of the barn. With the bale being over here to feed the steers with, every time it would rain, water would come in here, it would soak up in the thing is so loud. That's right, Coco. So every time it would rain or water would get in here or anything, all the hay that was on the ground would soak up all of that water and moisture, and it would just sit and stay and it wouldn't dry. So this is all really wet and gross. So while we're cleaning everything out, I'm going to scoop this up, throw it in Ryan's path so he can gather that and take it outside. While we were in and around the pen area, we also noticed something that has been on our radar for a while. The cattle have been pushing on part of the exterior barn wall, and one of the panels has started to really pull away from the barn. It's not dangerous right now, but it absolutely needs to get a proper fix. We're going to need to get some supplies before we can do it right, so that one goes on the project list. And if you have been watching us for any length of time, you know that that project list never really gets any shorter. Once the cleaning was done and everything was scraped out, we spread an entire bag of barn lime throughout the pen area. If you've never used barn lime in a cattle barn, it is one of those products that quietly does a lot of work all at once. It absorbs moisture from urine and water spills, and it neutralizes ammonia, that sharp smell that you get in barns sometimes, by counteracting the acidity and decomposing waste. It also helps keep resting and walking areas drier, which lowers the risk of hoof rot. And it also dries out the wet organic material that flies need to breed in, which also cuts down the pests significantly. And when eventually it gets mixed into your scraped manure and spread back out into the fields, it adds calcium carbonate that helps balance soil acidity. It's a humble product, and it earns its place on a working farm every single time. Once the lime was down, Ryan brought in a bale of hay, and this is a bale from last year's harvest, and we chose hay over traditional straw bedding because it gives the mamas and their newborn calves something a little softer and more cushion to rest on. The full mass of the bale also means it's going to last a bit longer before it all packs way down. Spreading the hay out is actually pretty easy. We first take off all of the net wrapping that's on the outside, and we have this awesome tool that makes it so much faster and easier to do that. Once the net wrapping is gone, we just start taking the layers off of the outside part of the hay bale and just spread it out around the pen. But we'll leave the core in place because the cattle love playing around with it. So it gives them something fun to do as well. And then they can also enjoy snacking on it without having to snack on anything that's on the ground that could be dirty. So it's a great option that we love doing for them. Now, it looks like a lot of hay right now. And yes, those girls are going to be stomping on most of it and flattening it out and honestly eating a solid chunk of it before the calves even arrive. That's just the truth of it. And we are completely fine with that. So just like that, the nursery is ready. Clean floor, fresh lime, soft bedding, and plenty of space. Whenever those mamas decide that the time is right, we will be ready for them, and they will have the space to do it in. So now it's a waiting game. We will be coming out here to the barn several times a day, watching for any changes. But there is something that we need to talk about when it comes time for our first time mama. And honestly, it's been on both of our minds all week. For our two proven mamas, honestly, we're checking on them mostly out of pure excitement. They know what they're doing, they've done it before, and we trust them completely. But our first time mama, it's a different story. She has been noticeably uncomfortable lately. She is struggling to walk around. She moves slowly and carefully, and you can just see that her body is doing things it has never done before. We are really hoping it's just normal late-stage pregnancy discomfort, carrying that calf for the very first time, her body working hard to prepare. That makes complete sense. But it is something that we're watching closely because beyond just her comfort right now, we generally have no idea what to expect when it comes time for the actual birth. Will she know what to do? Will she bond with the calf right away and just take over like it's just normal and natural? Will she need help? Will we even be there when it happens? We just don't know. And there is a certain weight to that kind of uncertainty when it's an animal that you have had for 4 years and one who finally got a chance after all this time. What we do know is this. She worked hard to get here, she deserves this, and we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that she and that calf have every possible chance. We would generally love it if you would keep these 3 mama cows in your prayers, all of them, but especially her. We are so grateful for every single one of you who shows up here and shares in these moments with us, the exciting ones, the hard ones, and everything in between. If you've been through a calving season of your own, or if you have experience watching over first-time heifer mamas, we would love to hear your advice and your stories in the comments below. We will also have an update for you very, very soon. We appreciate you being with us, and we will see you on the next one.